I'm breaking out, I'm breaking in. I just can't help this state I'm in. I'm on my way, y'all. So put your shades on, this light's so bright, it's blinding. I'm radiating love, I'm radiating love, I'm radiating love. Breaking free, I'm breaking ground. I can't explain this thing I found. The clouds have moved on. I got my groove on. This pep in my steps infectious. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. I've been stuck in a rut. I've been shit out of luck. I've been wondering what is up with me. And then I realized it's up to me to decide. I can just be radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating love.
Am I there? Am I here? Bring me in. There I am. Oh, good morning, my friends. You are an irresistible magnet with the power to attract unto yourself everything you desire. What do you desire? What is it you want in your life? What is it you have decided to require in your life? Well, as soon as you figure that out, as soon as you have that vision of what it is you want in your life, what it is you have decided to have in your life, forget wanting. No need to want. What have you decided to have in your life? Once you've done that, you're an irresistible magnet to bring that into your life, to manifest, to demonstrate that into your life. That's all true. That's all what we're about, to bring you the tools to do that. Right here from the New Thought Spiritual Center. I'm Reverend Jay Willick. I'm the head guy, the senior minister and the spiritual leader here at the New Thought Spiritual Center. And we're so happy that you have decided, whether it's right here now, live Sunday morning, or sometime during the week, to bring your consciousness to ours, to connect with that divine power, that universal power, as we do in this intentional moment. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We're glad you're here. For those who are new to us or need a little reminder, maybe you've been away for a little bit, what the New Thought Spiritual Center is all about, we have some statements of our principles. Watch this. That's what we're all about. the New Thought Spiritual Center, and every month we highlight one of our statement of principles, and this is the one we're highlighting this month. This is what we're talking about all month, is our vision statement, is the vision statement. It's a little cockeyed, isn't it? Let me fix that. Boom. And that is to vibrate at the speed of the divine. Get that right there? At the speed of the divine. And we're going to talk about that today, as we have all month, what that means, how we do it, the tools to do that, and talking about creating your own personal vision statement, or using this one if you desire. That's what the New Thought Spiritual Center is all about. And we welcome you once again to check into your tools for bringing your greatest life into your experience. Those are spiritual tools. Those are scientific tools. They're psychological tools. They're neuro-linguistic programming tools. They're tools that we have learned and have been proven time and time and again, not just by talking to people and seeing how they have used these tools in their lives and what that has brought into their lives, but the empirical science of neuroscience and neurological uses of these tools, and how those can be proven through functional MRIs and all kinds of other ways that scientists prove how the brain works. So bringing brain work and consciousness work together helps us manifest what it is we have decided to show up into our lives. Let's take a moment right now and do a little spiritual mind treatment. That's an affirmative prayer, if you don't know that term. Whatever term you'd like to use, let's do that together. Let's introduce ourselves intentionally and practically to that universal divine power and energy that is within us and around us and working for us at all times. So if you would join me in taking a deep breath together, just breathe it in through your nose. Deep breath work is so opening of our heart, not just our lungs, and let it go out through your mouth. Let's do it again. And as we breathe in, let's hold it for 3, 2, 1. Let it out. And as we do it one more time, one deep breath, one more time, you can close your eyes if it's comfortable for you, or maybe leave them at a soft focus. And let it out. If you're doing something now, stop for a moment, maybe sit down, but make sure your feet are on the floor. You can cross your legs so that we can connect ourselves to not only the universe in an intentional way. We're always, of course, connected to the universe, but to the Mother Gaia. If you happen to be outside, slip off your shoes, put them on the ground. Let them touch the grass, not the concrete, but the grass, the dirt that might be under you now, so that you can, what they call earth yourself. Connect ourselves to the Mother Gaia, to this planet we live upon. It has its own energy, its own life force. So as we connect to the life forces all around us, from the divine to the planet, let us know here and now that we are ready. We are standing ready. Even if we are sitting, we are standing ready to allow this power, this love, this divinity to work through us, as us, for us, not only in this moment, from every moment that goes from here. We are allowing this energy, this love, this divine presence to inform us what we need to know. What we might have known before but have forgotten, it shows up right now, giving us guidance, a handhold if needed, to go down the path to our greatest manifestations. We bring forth this divine love, this energy of power and presence in the demonstration of our greatest experiences. If we need to feel something, that shows up if we need to imagine something or be intuited by something, that shows up. For the light shines brightly on each and every one of us at this very moment to live joyously, happily, affluently, healthfully, surrounded by the energy of love. That is what we do from this moment on, bringing the power and presence of the divine, of God, of whatever you want to call that energy of life, to bring forth our greatest good. It is good right here and now, and we accept it and appreciate it and walk in gratitude for this good, for our power, for our intelligence. Releasing these words to the universe that always says, yes, let me have it. I'm working it out for you. As together we say, and so it is. We are so fortunate this morning to have two of our favorite people here. One you'll see in a few more moments, but the other that you'll see in just a few moments from now. Caressa McElhaney is here as our sacred reader this morning to bring you some wisdom and our affirmative incantation for the week, which is the affirmation that you want to repeat twice a day for the next week. In the morning, when you arise, before you get out of bed, spend a few minutes with these words when she gets to it. And before you go to sleep, before you fall asleep, you want this to be the last thing that you think of before you close your eyes and let your whole body and mind refresh itself. You want to be rebooting your life with these words. So twice a day. And she'll introduce that to you in just a few moments. I think she has a few words to say. I see her preparing, and we're going to cut to her right now, my friends. Caressa McElhaney. Here she comes. Dun, 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 dun. Am I pressing the button? Maybe I should press the button. Nope. There she is. Ha ha! Outside in the beautiful gardens of Apperhaney.
How are y'all doing? So, today, I wanted to talk a little bit about autopilot. Do you ever find yourself, oh, thanks, Dave. Do you ever find yourself driving somewhere familiar that you've probably been to a ton of times, and all of a sudden you get there and you realize that you don't even really remember the journey? Well, that's definitely called autopilot, right? And that can happen in our lives just as easily as it happens while we're driving a car. So, we go through the motions of our everyday life. We're, eating and, feeding ourselves, taking care of ourselves. We're taking care of business. We're paying our bills. We're doing everything we can do to make sure life is running smoothly. But we feel this certain sense of dissatisfaction. Sometimes we fall into that pattern because the things that are demanding our attention make us feel like we don't have time for anything else. But if that's the case, it usually comes to our notice because we do feel that sense of dissatisfaction or unease. So, and we wonder what's causing it. So, everything is good. Everything's being taken care of. We feel fine. Where our bills are paid. Everything is great. But still, there's that sense of not quite rightness. So I just want to say, when that happens, we need to pay attention to it. Because you're not really living life to the fullest, if that is the case, right? We are meant to express ourselves. We are meant to love, to create, to feel, to think new thoughts, to have an impact, to serve, to coexist with the rest of the world in a way that invigorates us and excites us. And if we're not doing that, then we need to really figure out the reason why. And if we aren't doing that, it's time to start. So I'd like to read something from a book by Raymond Charles Barker, The Power of Decision. So I love this book. Raymond Charles Barker used to speak, I believe it was Unity, in New York at Lincoln Center for many years. And he wrote this book in 1968, Power of Decision. Really a fantastic book. So I'd like to read a little bit of this. You can live a much fuller life right where you are in your present circumstances. It does not require more money, a better job, a nicer home, or a different marriage partner. It requires a change of consciousness, and this you can do, for you are a thinker. You are the controller of your consciousness. The moment you decide to live a richer life, your consciousness will devise the ways and means of having it. That is why it will demonstrate for you a richer life when you are certain you want it and you have decided to have it. It all depends on you, not the world of events, things, and people. Your mind is where you live. Your world, your body, and your situation react in exact accordance to your mind. Not someone else's mind, your mind. An expanded consciousness expresses in an expanded experience. This is the way of the law of the mind works, and it works no other way. A greater and happier outward experience requires a larger and fuller knowing in consciousness to precede it. So that, I think, is just a wonderful reminder that we are in control of our experience. It is all a choice of how we live our lives. We can go through it in the rote fashion because things are laid out for us by other people or circumstances, or we can choose to rise above that and create what we want our own reality to be. And sometimes I think we need to remind ourselves that we do have that power. We have that control over how we are going to live our lives. So with that, I want to read the Informative Incantation. I think it'll be up on your screen shortly. And I have lost it. I don't have it on here. Lost the Informative Incantation. Okay, I'm using new equipment, so sorry. All right. So please feel free to read along with me out loud. And if not, you can just listen as I read it. Okay. With both the eyes on my face and the envisioning mental eye, I see the rain of infinite possibilities supporting me. I see the rain of light shining through me. I see the rain of vibrant health, happiness, peace, and pleasure happening with me. I'm having difficulty. I can't read this. Jay, I think you better read it because I cannot.
Okay. No, that's cool. It's the joys of being outside. Yeah, let's go through this together. It's one of my long ones, and I want everyone to understand when I write these, whether they're long or short, there's a logical reasoning behind it. I'm bringing you on a journey to your greatest self, depending on what I'm writing and the intention of this affirmative incantation. So there it is. It might be a little hard to read because it's a little small because it's long, but listen in, and then later you can see it. It's in the notes there in the description on Facebook and on YouTube. And here we go. I see the creative force of spirit expressing in me with all of nature's splendor, color, diversity, light, beauty, strength, mystery, a myriad of sounds and smells, and the creative force always at work. I commune with that creative force of the universe. With both my eyes on my face and the envisioning mental eye, I see the rain of infinite possibilities supporting me. I see the rain of light shining through me. I see the rain of vibrant health, happiness, peace, and pleasure happening with me. and I see the reign of fortune, benevolence, and integrity surrounding me. Lit by the flame that reveals the divinity in me, I look in the right places, spot the right ideas, view the best questions, and perceive the greatest answers. Today, I am open to my mind. Today, I open my mind to the most wondrous and inspiring magnificence, and I open my heart to recognize love expressing the power, grace, vitality, kindness, and prosperity in all I perceive, think, feel, believe, and experience. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing all week. That's what you're bringing forth all week into your mind, into your heart, into your life. Okay, a long one, but boy, when you get through it, it's going to empower you to be your best self. So, bringing our best self musically is Steve Apperson. I see he's there ready. He's got a brand new song. What is this, number 24 or 5? Something like that. It's got a couple albums worth of these great songs. And this one is called Fearless, and there he is, and I'll step away. My friend Steve Apperson.
Good morning. Happy Sunday. So kind of paraphrase everything. This is a song because every once in a while life may feel like a kick in the pants. Each day's a living blessing, and it's also a genuine gift. But it can often leave you pressing, because at times it will often shift. Now we have to accept life really isn't hard. We can choose to be enlightened or resist or insist that we're scared and scarred. There are times when I may wonder, and I'll even question why. And I'll surrender to the doubt that I'm under, and I'll suggest that I let life slip by. I must confront my mishandlings with my mind and soul, and restore my strength and courage, and let life unfold. Stand tall and be fearless. Yes, ignore the state of unease. I like being fearless. I can think and feel as I please. I'm counting on spirit to help me hold on and not back down. That's right, fearless. And I'll attain and I'll astound, and not be subjected to defeat or claims of deja vu. I'll relax and keep faith and feel alive, 'cause it's the ultimate point of view. Life's an infinite journey, even though you may not travel far. We're constantly growing and learning, ascertaining who we really are. We all have choice to validate and achieve. It comes down to your sense of mind and the will to believe. There are a ton of possibilities when there is so much to gain, and a myriad of responsibilities that can feel like an endless game. Life's a maze of mirrors that will chase and follow you. And at times it can be daunting, but you can't let it swallow you. That's why you gotta be fearless. Have the grace that soothes the soul. I love being fearless, 'cause I'm a rock that has to roll. Got a shot at being fearless, and let the earth to see how good it is fearless. I'm an emotional Hercules, and I'll never question whatever next I must do. I'll just offer my newfound expression and be alive. It's the ultimate point of view. You can't change time or the light of the day, but you can use your mind and control what you put into play. And then you can stay sound and power on. Just honor the truth, celebrate life and live along. And you know that you are fearless. Raise hell and rise above, ride the tide of spirit, and rejoice in the beauty of love. Gotta feel great and fearless, and I'll let the earth to see that I'm really fearless, a spiritual Hercules, and not crumble or stumble with what I'm going through. Find calm, being strong, and be alive. Cause the ultimate point of view, you gotta be fearless, fearless. Fearless. Right on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's great. That's one of your best songs, Steve. I love that. I even wrote down a few notes. I love this raise hell and rise above. Sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes we have to raise hell within ourselves so that we can rise above. Oh, that's so great. And being a spiritual Hercules, what a beautiful lyric. And that is the ultimate point of view. So perfect, both of you. So perfect, talking and singing about stuff so relatable to what I wanted to talk about today. It's so great. And those of you out there, I hint very, very in a very small manner what it is I'm going to be talking about on Sundays. They have the talk title, of course, and maybe 5, 6, 7 words of what I'm going to be talking about, and then they take off with this great stuff. Fabulous! Thank you guys so much. I have a quote that I want to start my talk with this morning, and it's from a book called Love and Law, a great book by Ernest Holmes, and he writes, in metaphysics, as in everything else, we are dealing with a proposition, which is the substance of things which are not seen by physical eye. The human eye only sees things which are effect. The human hand touches only that which is effect. And we are very apt to say these things are controlled by law. That is true. Everything must be governed by law. Law controls everything absolutely. But we are not as apt to realize that the law itself is an effect. The law itself, the law of being, the law of the universe, the law of attraction, whatever you want to call it, is an effect in itself. It's affected upon. See how we see things, what our perspective is, our perception is, becomes the degree in which we are affected by those things that happen around us, those things that seemingly happen to us. Because the law of attraction, the law of cause and effect, the law of compensation, whatever you want to call that law, that universal law, works from our perspective, our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs. That's where it takes not its power, but that's where it takes its cues to bring forth into our lives our experiences. You see, what we are searching for is what we are searching with, that power and presence. Like here. Now, you can't see it's a little low on the screen there, but the eye with which we see God is the same eye with which it sees us. And I'm not talking about the cornea type eyes, but that third eye, that inner eye, some call it the sixth chakra or energy center of the body, but it sits in this area right between your eyes. And behind there, a little further back into your head, is the pineal gland. Now that's quite a fascinating thing going on in your brain through the pineal gland. In ancient Egypt, the pineal gland was known as the seat of the spirit or the soul. They used the third eye, as it's called, as a route to higher awareness and consciousness. The Buddhists related it to spiritual awakening, and the Hindus connected this third eye to a representation of intuition and clairvoyance. This gland that I'm talking about, they have found now in science that it secretes melatonin. That's the sleep hormone that is in response to the light-dark cycle that's going on every day, of course. It controls our body temperature, our hunger, our thirst, our fatigue or not having fatigue. Like I said, our sleep and our circadian rhythms, which are so important for us to keep balanced. It's also responsible for producing serotonin, the happy hormone, and it regulates through that our mood, our behavior, our digestion, our very digestion. And as most people know, maybe you don't realize it, what's going on with your digestion really works on what's going on with your life, your mood especially. And when you activate this pineal gland, because you can activate it purposefully, it gives clarity, it gives greater intuition, it opens yourself up, it accesses that greater intuition from the gut, it balances the left and right brain functions. There's a gentleman named Gottfried D. Perucker who wrote a book in 2011 called Man in Evolution. And he said, whenever we have a hunch, the pineal gland is vibrating gently. When we have an intuition or an inspiration or a sudden flash of intuitive understanding, it vibrates more strongly. It vibrates at the speed of the divine is what's going on, because we are connecting to that joy that is within us. And that joy, now I'm not talking about happiness. Happiness happens to be because of experiences that are going on. I'm talking about joy. Joy is an inner feeling, not merely an emotion. It's an inner feeling in that connection to the divine, whatever you want to call the divine. Your pineal gland, that third eye, that sixth chakra, that's where your vision is envisioned. Do you know what I mean? Where the vision that you have, the vision of vibrating at the speed of the divine, or whatever your personal vision for your life is envisioned. It is seen not only this way through the eyeballs, but seen through your consciousness, because it's got to be seen through your consciousness before it is seen through your eyeballs. A Franciscan sister in Washington, D.C., who's also a theologian and writes, she's written like a dozen or more books specializing in the art of the area of where science and religion connect. Her name is Elio DeLeo. She's a PhD as well. She wrote, "Wisdom is knowledge deepened by love. The wise person knows more deeply by the way of love than by the way of argument, because the eye of the heart can see the truth of reality. Hence, the wise person is one who knows and sees God shining through everything, even what seems ugly or despised." We have to remember God is in everything, sorrow or happiness. The joy, remember, the joy is in the connection, in the communion with this divine presence, with the power and presence of the universe. The joy is in the experience, which could be happiness or sorrow, and or the lesson that is learned. Maybe not at that very second that it is happening, but eventually a lesson is learned so that we can stay away from that sorrow or increase more of that happiness in that experience. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, of course, we may not like the experience. I've had many experiences that I don't like, but as I move through them, as I move past them, I learn, because I allow Spirit to speak to me, because I also know Spirit was in it. And if Spirit was in it, then I know I can connect to whatever lesson I need to learn about myself. Being in that situation that brought on, especially in this case, a negative experience, but in both experiences, I want to increase these experiences that bring happiness in my life, or affluence, or all that wonderful positive stuff. But I also want to learn at the same time negative experiences that show up, what I can do to avoid those consciously, or even in a practical sense, know not to be in that situation, know not to be in that place again. So that negative experience doesn't show up. That's you taking part and touching upon and tuning in to the Spirit that is working within you, that universal energy that is working within you. I see God in everything, positive or negative, because it is. Dr. Martin Luther King wrote, "We must see that force begets force. Hate begets hate. Toughness begets toughness. And it is all a descending spiral, ultimately ending in destruction for all and everybody." Somebody must have sense enough and morality enough to cut off the chain of hate and the chain of evil in the universe, and you do that by love. You do that by connecting to the divine that is within you. You do that by vibrating, meaning everything that's going on in your mind and your body and the actions you take is vibrating at the speed of the divine, at the connection and communion with the universe. When you are in that, you don't step into negative things. You don't activate negative things in yourself when you're working through this vision. We control what we think, feel, say, and do. We have control over it. Our job in this great power of having control over what we think, feel, and do and say is to optimize that control. Because even in the midst of all these higher prices and the food shortages, and there's a war raging, probably more than one, there's political uncertainty going on in our country here in the United States. There's even some fascist type whisperings that have been going on the last few years that can be very saddening and maddening. But will you see life? Will you see, even through all that stuff, will you see life as a struggle and full of unloving people? And I know there are some unloving people out there. I get it. I see it. I've experienced it. But do you see disappointments and desperation and hate and negative inevitability? Do you believe that is inevitable? Or do you see lessons and possibilities that inspire you to take an active part in deterring all that negativity that we are seeing going on? Yeah, you have to take action, of course, but that action starts in envisioning exactly what it is you have decided you want to have in this life. A food shortage that affects you, yes or no? Higher prices that mess up your life, yes or no? You get to decide. You get to take the lesson. You get to decide what the possibilities are, no matter what shows up in your life. So what is your vision of beauty? Will it be full of false beliefs? Or are you going to engage in the truth? You're going to engage in the truth of the divine presence, the divine power is within you right here and now. And yeah, stuff's going to go on out there that's not going to be fun. But what are you going to do with that? You're going to piss and moan? for days and days and days? Or are you going to do something about that in your consciousness? Are you going to envision and thus vision and thus activate in your life that how that negativity is not going to affect you? Are you going to do that? You have the power to do that. You can choose from a place of where love is present. Decide what you are for, not what you are against. Yeah, I totally get that. You are against higher prices. You are against food shortages. You are against this, the United States, at least seemingly, if not practically, becoming a little bit fascist or a lot of bit fascist. Yeah, of course. Of course you're against that. But what are you for? That's what's the most important, because you need to focus on what you are for so that the universe can bring that into your life. It's not when you focus on what you are against, the universe just brings more of that in your life, because that's what it hears that you want. Now, I know sometimes it takes a little bit of squinting, you know what? Like you squint sometimes, you'll squint to, you think that kind of clarifies what you're trying to look at if you squint at it. And it, sometimes I know it seems like it takes a little bit of squinting to see through the muck that goes on around us, to see through it and see the truth. But don't squint to see clarity. Because when you squint, that lessens the illumination of light. That brings less light, actually, into your eyes. But in your consciousness, it brings less of light with capital L and spirit into your life, because you're closing up. It dries up your true perception, just like how squinting dries up the moisture in your eyeballs. It actually even blinds you to that which leads to enlightenment. You're not going to catch enlightenment by squinting at it. Open those eyes, my friends. Open those eyes, both inward and outward. Open them wide. See the obstructions. Go ahead, look at them. Look at them in the face. What did Steve said? Be a spiritual Hercules. Look at them right in there. See the obstructions that are happening in your perceptions. I have to do that. I have to go, well, wait. How did this show up in my life? What's my perception in life that made that show up or allow that to show up? Is it from my history somehow? Or maybe I'm buying into some supposed DNA inevitability? No, remove that. That's junk. You are not bound by your history. You are not bound by some DNA thing. As Helen Keller said, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight and no vision. You have to have vision. What's your vision? What's your vision? Is your vision to raise hell and rise above anything that gets in your way? Is that your vision? What's your vision? You have to decide what your vision is. You can base it off of this. Have at it. But it's got to get personal. Jung said your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. Carl Jung said that. Look inside. That's where you awaken from the inside. Not hanging out with what's going on out there. Hanging out with what's going on in here. Focus on what you want. I'm going to say it again. Focus on what you want. Did you hear it? Focus on what you want. Focus on, let's get rid of the want. Focus on what you have decided is going to be. Focus on what you have decided is going to be. You shouldn't have to squint to see it clearly. You just have to feel it. You have to visualize it. You have to imagine it. You have to envision it using your insight, not your eyesight. Your insight, not your eyesight. Again, Meister Eckhart, Catholic mystic from the Middle Ages, loved this quote: "The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. My eye and God's eye are one eye, one seeing, one knowing, one love." You can change that word God to whatever word pleases you, whatever word works for you. Universal presence, divine intelligence, divine love, the Big Bang. If you don't want anything that even sounds religious or spiritual, then don't. Change the term. It's all the same. It's an energy. It's that same singularity, as they call it, that created all. Instead of hoping or even asking you to promise, I'm inviting you to join me in declaring and dancing through life with eyes wide open and heart wide open, and inviting inspiration and imagination, and doing it at full bore with full body, mind, heart, gut, hands, fingers, everything. Full body, working at full bore with wings spread, and the whole of you ready to fly and take action. And how? You want to ask how? Let me give you another quote. A lot of quotes today. Carlos Castaneda. Now, I know there's some controversy in Carlos, especially later in his life, but he wrote some really great things, and here's one of them. In the universe, there is an immeasurable, indescribable force, which shamans call intent, and absolutely everything that exists in the entire cosmos is attached to intent by a connecting link. What's the connecting link? Your mind and your heart. Not just your brain, but your mind. Your mind is everything. Your mind is consciousness. Your mind is that connection to the vision and the knowing that you are part of that one power in the universe. When you open your mind and heart, you let your imagination flow, and the inspiration will start chiming in. Then any needed information is just going to show up, and the course will get clear. You don't have to squint. You don't have to be myopic about anything. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, within man is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty to which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one. And what does the eternal one look like? Remember the story about the little girl that was sitting in the back of a classroom, and she was drawing, and the teacher walks back there and asks her, what are you drawing? And the little girl said she was drawing a picture of God. But nobody knows what God looks like, the teacher said. And the little girl looked up and replied, now they do. Yes, the eternal one looks just like you. Draw a picture of you, and that is God. Draw a picture of you, and that is that singularity energy of the Big Bang. That's you. And you, and you, and you, and all of you. The light shines through all of you, as you might say, if you let it. It's going to shine anyway, but only to the degree that you allow it, only to the degree that you connect to it and allow yourself to vibrate at its speed. Start with a vision. Start with your vision, this vision, whichever, a combination. Have a vision on your life. And remember that believing is seeing. Seeing from the inside. And seeing is being. Being the divine in you. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Let us place our hands on our hearts and together declare our love offering blessing. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you for your blessed love offerings.
Yes, thank you so much for your blessed love offerings. We appreciate that you support our vision, the vision of this spiritual center, and that you understand that not only are we a spiritual center spreading spirituality and connecting into our consciousness and communing with the divine intelligence, but that we have practical tools to use at the same time, and your support of our vision helps us bring those practical tools to you in this venue. We're on social media all over the place. Here's where. Yes, if you are a TikTok or Instagram fan, I record the affirmative affirmation every Sunday right after this Sunday celebration. So you can find it at either of those places. At the New Thought Guy is my name there on Instagram and TikTok. So enjoy that. I enjoy making those, and that'll be a nice place for you to find our affirmative incantation for the week. I want to make sure to wish Reverend Gary Oltman a happy birthday. We're so glad. We are so fortunate to have him with us and on our board and our treasurer, et cetera, but it is his birthday and his birthday weekend. And him and Reverend Barbara are out there enjoying it. If you're friends of them on Facebook, you've seen them at concerts and, of course, at Disneyland, because nothing is celebrated more when they go to Disneyland, and of course their new granddaughter and everything. It's just a wonderful weekend for Reverend Gary and Reverend Barbara, and so we want to make sure and wish Gary a very, very, very happy birthday. It's very wonderful. So happy for him. And, by the way, have you heard? I wrote a book. It's available. Watch this. You'll find out where. Yeah, get our book. It's all about the teaching that we have and the philosophy of universal law and the spiritual laws and how that all works and what you can do to bring more goodies into your life. I don't mean goodies as candy or a new car, but more than that. If it's peace of mind, you need to create more into your life or other things like that, this book will help you. This book teaches you and brings more affirmative incantations in your life, and you can follow it month by month. Each month has a theme, and those affirmative incantations for each week of that month helps propel that theme into not only your life, but into your consciousness, into your very perspective. Change your perspective, change your life. So we're going to end our broadcast very soon with another song by Steve Apperson, Buddha in the Backseat. I'm sure he has a little bit to say about that. And we'll end our broadcast with that. But before that, let us join together in an affirmative prayer, a spiritual mind treatment. Close your eyes if it's comfortable for you. Take a deep breath with me. Yeah, hold that rock and roll wonderfulness in you. God is, and we release that through our mouth, knowing I am. I am that power and presence. I am that divine intelligence and love. And right now I connect with it. That power and presence, that love, that intelligence is something that is within me. And I tune into it right now. I turn whatever dial, I move whatever slide to bring forth into my life the consciousness and the vibration of that divine force, of that singularity, of that energy of love and intelligence and wisdom. I bring the wisdom, more the intelligence, better than the intelligence. I bring the wisdom into my life right here and now, so that I see not only through my eyeballs, but through my mind's eye. I see, and thus I vision, and thus I envision, and thus I bring into my life all the goodness that I have decided I require. I know this for each and every one of you right now. I know that you step in as you tune in and turn on the divine that is within you right now, using that power and presence to make a decision, to use the power of decision to bring that experience into your life, to manifest. It is the power of manifesting is in our imagination and our feeling and our envisioning of that all that information, all that clarity of what that manifestation looks like. And we know right here and now that using that power and presence, using that consciousness, makes this universal law, bring it forth into our life, demonstrate it into our life, a new car, a better peace of mind, a better relationship with this person or this organization or that organization, bringing more affluence into our lives, more joyful, happy, exciting experiences in our lives, making our lives succulent and sweet and full of meaning. Those are the things we can demonstrate with the power and presence that is within us. Those are the things we demonstrate right now, that we manifest right now, because we have decided through this vision to have it. And it is a joy to be in this inspiring, love-filled wisdom, pool of wisdom. We step in and we soak in this pool of wisdom and allow this intuition to flow into us, to warm us like the rays of the sun. Golden suns, my friend, golden suns flowing into us. With this knowing, I just appreciate this knowing, these words. I am grateful and walk in gratitude with this power, with this wisdom, with this love, illuminating me, illuminating you. And I declare it for each and every one of us right here, right now. As together we release our word, and together saying, and so it is. Hallelujah. Amen. Amen. Oh, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Have a most blessed week, my friends, and enjoy this great final song of our broadcast. And I'll see you next week. Blessings. Namaste.
All right, here we are. This song is about a vibrating traveling salesman. And instead of selling HP printers and laptops, he sells wisdom. Namaste. He starts to laugh. Now you're driving too slow. Stop sputtering the gas. I can't be late because there's someplace where I gotta be. Then he'd engage me out his fables about right and wrong. He'd challenge and chide me when I leave my blinker on. He loved to talk and run the walk. He always had the knowledge about the workings of a carburetor. Buddha in the backseat. Buddha in the backseat. Buddha in the backseat. Don't let him drive your car. The never end. Shucks. We have a strap malfunction. And you know what? Here we go. And 2, 3, 4. Through the never-ending rearranging of the guard. How we love to do Shakespeare as if he knew the bar. Always rehearsing scenes with a big bosom bald-headed babe. They'd stay up all night in discussions of philosophy and art. And eventually end the evening when tomorrow would start. He'd find a phrase and look so crazed. At any given moment, he could factor all the circumstances. Buddha in the backseat. Buddha in the backseat. Buddha in the backseat. Don't let him drive your car. Well, he got charisma, charm that could raise kingdom come. He always felt he was the chosen one. Love pretending he was on the run. Don't let him get your hands on the wheel. Through the backward valleys in the swamp of the south, he'd keep flipping his lip by barely moving his mouth. He had a way of making you hurt a lot more than you thought he said. Even though I was driving, he suggested I close my eyes, take a deep breath and feel, though it felt like suicide. You're in reverse with the universe. And he'd go on and on about the theory of statistics. Buddha in the backseat. Buddha in the backseat. Buddha in the backseat. Don't let him drive your car. Hell, he'll get you to walk on fire, to rise above the clouds. How he can ruminate and rally a crowd, blow up an ego so well and down, and have you in the palm of his hands. So Elvis like he bailed party and hide in the back of my Buick on a magic carpet ride. He wouldn't preach. He wouldn't breach any belief you didn't hear. And he would never back away of knowing more than what's now. He marked his moments by always saying, oh wow, it's yours to know, so it goes. Everybody has a choice of choosing less resistance. Buddha in the backseat. Buddha in the backseat. Buddha in the backseat. Don't let it drive your car. Something like that. It's so funny, the last time I ever done